One of the pillars of D&D is exploration, delving into dungeons, investigating strange rooms and uncovering mysteries. In early D&D, investigating places for secrets and treasure was just as important as slaying monsters, if not more so. A wonderful adventure that captures this essence of investigation and a perfect adventure to start off your old school campaign is Borshak's Lair. Borshak's Lair was published in Dungeeoneer Magazine in November 1976, making it one of the first published adventures. Exploration and investigation are the keys to this adventure, as more and more secrets open up as the characters investigate. There is also a fair number of odd things to be found in this dungeon, unexpected and weird occurrences that are common features of early D&D adventures. This is a first-level adventure, but there are plenty of extremely dangerous encounters which could easily wipe out the party. I don't intend to spoil the whole adventure, but if you would like to play this, then perhaps stop watching here. The initial part of the dungeon may seem quite straightforward. A solitary orc stands guard at the foot of a long staircase 100 feet from the surface. He will probably detect light sources descending down the staircase and scurry away to warn his friends. The characters will arrive in a small room with checkerboard floor tiles and drapes hanging on the walls. Searching behind the curtains may reveal a wooden fish amulet, which turns out to be called Fred and is extremely talkative. Okay, that's a bit silly perhaps, but it does provide +1 to saves and armor class and allows the wearer to change his appearance as an illusionist. Fred also likes to talk at inopportune moments, such as when the wearer is hiding or sneaking. Despite the ridiculous nature of this item, it has the kind of traits I like in magic items. Very beneficial powers, but also a drawback, so the players will need to make a choice of whether the drawback outweighs the benefit. The next room is made of solid white marble, with murals carved on the walls and gold marble pillars. Beyond this room is a small room lined with draperies and filled with spicy incense. It is lit by magical light, and in the floor is what appears to be a bottomless pit. On the south wall is a throne. And on first inspection, that's it. The only way appears to be down the hole. Unbeknownst to the players, though, there are actually 5 other routes out of this room, each hidden and relying on the player investigation skills to discover. The hole does lead somewhere, but it will likely end up trapping and perhaps killing some characters. Investigating behind the curtains will reveal a door leading to the crypt of Helmdar, but it is wizard-locked, so a first-level party will not be able to open it. Next, the characters may investigate the throne. Here is another bit of silliness in the form of an invisible and poisonous +2 pin, which will do 3d8 damage. I wonder if kids still put pins on chairs at school as we used to when I was young. If the characters try to move the seat forward, it sinks down into the floor and reveals a secret passage. The passage has stairs leading upwards to another curtained room with a statue in the centre, but alas, the room is blocked off by iron bars. Another dead end which the characters are unlikely to circumvent until later, so they return back to the marble room to investigate further. Next to the first door they found is a secret door, which may be found with a dice roll, but that is time-consuming, and the spicy incense in the room makes any who spend more than 5 minutes there fall asleep. So that door may well remain hidden for some time. The only other thing that the characters may investigate are the carved murals on the walls. The murals show soldiers fighting, and the northmost statue on each side both activate secret doors if their heads are pressed in. The 2 secret doors lead to 2 very different parts of the dungeon, one occupied by the orcs and their followers, and the other filled with magic and a wizard's spectre. I won't describe much more of this dungeon, but be assured that there are some great things for the players to discover. What I want to look at is this first section of the dungeon, which I think is very informative in how old-school dungeons were designed and how they were expected to play. Let's start with that solitary guard at the foot of the stairs. This guy is not supposed to fight, and the DM has several options when the players encounter him. Most obviously, he will see the party's light source from afar, remember the stairs are 100 feet long, and will run to warn Borshak and the rest of the gang of orcs and goblins. If the party are swift enough to pursue him, they may be able to see him trigger the mechanism for the western secret door. Alternatively, the DM may choose to have him hold his ground and stoically refuse entrance to the dungeon, perhaps vainly threatening them in an orcish fashion. The module even suggests that orcs can be hired by the party, perhaps to betray them later. The guard will never reveal the western secret door voluntarily, but may hint at or reveal the eastern door, hoping that the party will meet certain death that way. There are a lot of options on how to run this initial encounter. You can use a reaction roll to help you decide. The most unlikely outcome, though, should be a simple fight. The next room has the magical fish amulet inside, but it also has those hanging draperies, which are a reoccurring theme in the dungeon. Not only is there consistency in the dungeon that makes it feel a little bit more real, but the players are taught that there may be things hidden behind the curtains. This will prove important later in the adventure. The next room is a really great example of dungeon design. Firstly, there are 3 secret doors, 4 if you include the throne. Secret doors are great fun, and this adventure was one of the inspirations behind my own adventure, Slug House, which is littered with secret doors. Here, 2 of the secret doors are opened by investigating the nearby murals. You can roll the normal 1 in 6 chance for this discovery, but better still, reward players who actually take note of the murals and specify that they are examining them, perhaps giving them an increased chance to find the mechanism. Of course, if they say they will push the heads of one of the soldiers, they will discover the secret door without any dice roll required. This encourages the players to engage with the dungeon itself, rather than simply relying on dice rolls. The throne too reveals its secret passage if it is pulled forwards. Again, reward players who describe the action of moving the throne instead of relying on a dice roll. In fact, if the players interact with the throne and are rewarded, they are more likely to interact with the murals as well. When you place secret doors in your dungeons, it is always a good idea to include a way in which they are operated, so that you know which actions the characters take will reveal the secret. The other secret door behind the curtains is very clever, as it is placed next to a very visible but impassable door, which ends up acting as a distraction. Players are less likely to look at the wall next to that door for another door. They will be preoccupied with the magically locked door. That magically locked door is a great piece of design as well. It sets an objective for the players. The words on the door read, "Here lieth the Hram," suggesting that the door leads to a crypt and thus treasure. But the characters will not be able to open it without a knock spell, so the players will continue to search the rest of the dungeon on the chance of finding a knock scroll, or until their magic user levels up enough to learn the spell. Great, it is a target for the players to aim for and provides motivation for further exploration. The passage behind the throne also provides a visible objective for the players. Beyond the metal bars is the curtained room with a statue, an intriguing place that they cannot get to yet, but they will want to. Once they navigate the rest of the dungeon and arrive at this room, it will feel very rewarding to recognize something that they have viewed earlier in the adventure. And what is behind that secret door that was probably overlooked earlier? Well, that is a direct route to Borshak himself and his wizard underling. Discovering the secret door can get the characters to their objective and bypass a lot of the dangers along the way. That's great. Of course, Borshak and his wizard are quite powerful, so taking this shortcut might end up being deadly, but this is old school D&D after all. Now, this adventure is not perfect, the formatting is pretty bad, and there are a few parts of the dungeon which are confusing at first glance, so you'll need to read each room entry carefully to understand how it is supposed to work. Despite that, I think that the design of this adventure really captures the play style of early D&D, as well as being a fun adventure to play. Borshak's Lair is a wonderful guide on how to create an adventure, and how a level 1 adventure can be just as exciting as a higher level adventure. Unfortunately, this adventure and the Dungeeoneer Magazine are rather tricky to get hold of these days, even in PDF, so I'm not able to provide a link in the description. However, if you do manage to get a copy, then this adventure is a really great one to run for the first adventure of your old school campaign. Have you ever run or played in this adventure? This is one of my favourite adventures, so let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you'd like to support the channel, you can pick up my adventure Slug House from DriveThruRPG, or you can join my Patreon, where I provide house rules, adventures, details from my home campaign, and even the opportunity to join weekly sessions with me. And as always, thanks for watching.